evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at the ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation. We're ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Vinipurarachi.
And I'm Shram Mascrinius. First, it's a look at the day's headlines.
China's Exim Bank agreed to local debt restructuring in Sri Lanka. The President invites the private sector to actively join with the government's program to steer the country towards technological and green economy. Athletes who won medals at the Asian Games return to the island. A cancer vaccine that has been brought to the country illegally has been suspended with immediate effect. If research reveals that 1/3 of university students suffer from mental disorders. 1,200 persons in Israel were killed by Hamas attacks. 970 Palestinians were also killed.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top story. Indian Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe today at the Presidential Secretariat. Extensive discussions were held to further strengthen the Indo-Sri Lankan relations, resulting in the signing of the three bilateral agreements aimed at enhancing the cooperation between the two countries. The inauguration of the third phase of the hosting project, supported by Indian loan assistance, was conducted during the meeting. While an initial allocation of Rs 1,026 million had been allocated per unit, for the fourth phase it was necessary to revise the budget to 2.8 million per unit due to the increased housing unit costs. To uplift the lives of Sri Lankan citizens, the Government of India has committed to providing additional funds for the speedy completion of 9 development projects in the country, which are currently supported by the Government of India. The relevant agreement for this initiative was also signed today. Additionally, a special commemorative logo was unveiled today to celebrate the 75 years of Indo-Sri Lankan relations.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyambalapitiya says that China's Exim Bank has expressed its agreement for local debt restructuring in Sri Lanka. He made these remarks at a press briefing held in Ruanwala area today. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyambalapitiya said that it is very important that the local debt optimization is being carried out amidst numerous challenges. At the beginning of the debt optimization, Sri Lanka had loans of $41 billion to pay back. The country had paid all loan installments to the World Bank, IMF and ADB continuously. Now Sri Lanka has to pay bilateral loans. Accordingly, the major creditor is China. The minister said that he has noticed that China's Exim had expressed their agreement for Sri Lanka's local debt optimization program. The government will see this agreement as a positive trend in this process. A meeting between Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Treasury Robert Caproth and State Minister of Finance Shahan Semasinga was also held yesterday. They held talks regarding the progress of Sri Lanka's economic reforms at present and the recent measures taken to secure the good governance. They also focused attention on the debt restructuring program supported by the IMF. State Minister of Finance Shahan Semasinga said that it is commendable that the U.S. government has assured continuous support to Sri Lanka.
And meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that he makes an open invitation to the private sector to actively join hands with the program to direct the country towards a technological and green economy. The President made these comments joining the inauguration of the exhibition of National Information Technology and Business Management Professionals. The exhibition was launched opening the National Information Technology and Business Process Management Week at the BMICH premises today. The exhibition will be held tomorrow as the day after as well. The aim of this exhibition is to encourage IT entrepreneurs, providing them with the new technological know-how, enhancing their skills, career guidance and providing employment opportunities. Through this program, it is also expected to enlighten the students of state and private universities and vocational training institutes. This has also created a forum for job seekers to have opportunities overseas for internships and vocational trainings. Several workshops have also been organized in this regard. State Minister Kanaka Herath, Secretary to the Prime Minister Anuruddha Dissanayake and several others were present at this occasion. In his address, President Wickremesinghe highlighted the aspirations of many exhibition attendees to seek opportunities abroad. He encouraged a shift in focus towards the nation can benefit from the event. With Sri Lanka's economy in recovery, the President stressed the importance of not only achieving economic stability, but also addressing the repayment of loans and fulfilling import requirements, all necessitating the foreign exchange reserves that might require additional loans. The President underscored the need to break free from the debt cycle and move towards a highly competitive economy capable of thriving in the global marketplace. The goal is to give revenue streams through both goods and services with the expectation that such efforts will attract Sri Lankans who have left the country to return home. Key to this transformation is a three-pronged strategy of creating a competitive economy, fostering a sustainable green economy and advancing the digital economy. Notably, the digital economy requires a skilled workforce proficient in information technology.
අපේ අලුත් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල පද්ධතියක් පටන් ගන්නවා. ආණ්ඩුවෙන් උත් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල තුනක් තිකරනවා විශේෂයෙන්ම කොතලාවල විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ ක්‍රමවේදයේ අනුව. ඒ වගේම රජයේ නොවන විශ්වවිද්‍යාලට ඉඩ දෙනවා. දෙවනුව දැන් තියෙන වෘත්තීය පුහුණු මධ්‍යස්ථාන 450 අපි
The athletes who won medals at the Asian Games returned to the island yesterday. They were warmly welcomed at the Katunayake Bandaranaike International Airport. Sri Lankan athletes won 5 medals at the 19th Asian Games held in Hangzhou, China. 4 of the medals are from athletic events. Sri Lankan athletes won medals at the Asian Games after 17 years this year. Officials of the Ministry of Sports and Sri Lankan Athletic Association and parents of the players were present at the airport to welcome them. Tharushi Karunaratne won the gold medal from the 800 meters running event in this occasion. Nandi Kalakmali won the silver medal in javelin throw event. Kalinga Kumarage, Aruna Darshana, Pavasarat Niku and Rajitha Rajakaruna won the bronze medal from 400 into 4 relay event. Nadisha Ramanayaka, Jeshi Uttara, Sayuri Mendis and Tharushi Karunaratne won the bronze medal from the 400 meters relay women's event. Sportsmen and women of the Sri Lanka Army who won medals at the Asian Games were felicitated today. The ceremony has been organized by the Sri Lanka Army. The Army sportsmen and women were warmly welcomed at the Torrington grounds near the Ministry of Sports, and they were taken to Battaramulla, Palavatta, Sri Lanka Army headquarters by an open motorcade. The felicitation ceremony was held there under the patronage of the commander of the Sri Lanka Army. And meanwhile, Director Board of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority says that the authority is not responsible for certain party import medicines under the forged documents as bogus pharmaceutical companies. Members of the Director Board, Attorney at Law Manoj Gamage says that it is the responsibility of the police and the CID to conduct investigations into such records. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority, Consultant Dr. Vijit Gunasekara says that a cancer vaccine imported to the country in that manner was suspended immediately. Chief Executive Officer of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority, Consultant Physician Vijitha Gunasekara said that the doctors of the Mathura General Hospital has informed the Medical Supply Division that a controversial vaccine for the cancer has been imported under the name of an Indian company. The vaccine is rituximab 500 mg, 500 milliliters used for cancer treatments. When the National Medicine Regulatory Authority got to know about this record, measures have been taken to suspend the controversial vaccine with immediate effect.
තාම ඒක සහතික වෙලා නැහැ. තවත් එවැනිම ඖෂධයකට ඇනුමක් ගිහිලා තියෙනවා කියලා. නමුත් ඒක සැපයුම් වෙලා නැහැ. ඒක නිසා මේකත් අපි ඊයේ දැනගත්තු ගමන්ම.
In other stories, the Met Department says that rainy weather condition in the Gaul and Mathura districts is gradually easing at present. Relief services are continuously underway for the welfare of the affected people. The Irrigation Department says flood situation in Nilvala River Basin has eased at present. Over 24,500 individuals in the Mathura district have been affected by the inclement weather. Many persons are still out of their residences as water is accumulated in some low-lying areas in Piladuva, Tudava and Hittetiya areas. Some persons who are housed in temporary welfare centres have been asked to return to their original abodes. Relief services are still underway for the affected people in Mathura, Akurasa, Malimbada and Tihagoda Divisional Secretariat areas. Sri Lanka Army helps the relevant divisional secretariats to carry out relief services. Army medical teams have organised health camps to enhance the health condition of the people. In addition, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Sathosa, Prasad says that the Lanka Sathosa has taken measures to distribute packs of essential items for the affected people through the divisional secretariats. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Sathosa, Pasandayapa Bevardhana, said that nearly 10,000 packs of dry rations are to be distributed among the affected families at concessionary rates through the Sathosa outlets. Dry rations were distributed among 250 affected families in Ganegama, Gonapura and Palangoda villages in the Badigama Divisional Secretariat area under the patronage of Minister Ramesh Patirana.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe states in an announcement that sudden demise of multiple skilled artist Jackson Anthony is an irreparable loss to the country. The remains of late Jackson Anthony are now lying at his residence in Ragama. The President further says that many persons generally expressed views on the numerous skills he displayed in the cinema, stage drama and television fields. However, he is also a creative writer in the fields of fiction. The President said that he personally knew that Jackson Anthony was prepared to write the second part of his famous novel Kanda Udagindara. It is the first novel in his writing career. The President stresses that it is regrettable that he couldn't complete the second part of this novel. As Professor Edirivira Sarachandra had mentioned in his novel Malagiya Atto, the world order is full of comings and goings. Accordingly, each individual who entered into the world must leave it one day. The President further said that according to the Bible, one should not judge others, for in return, the President will be judged by the others. According to Bible, in the manner you measure the society, you will also be measured in the same manner. The President has conveyed his and his wife's Professor Maitri Wickremesinghe's condolences to the family members of Jackson Anthony. The remains of late Jackson Anthony were brought to his residence at Medumavata in Kadavata, Ragama Main Road last night. Large crowds are gathering at his residence to pay last respect to late artist. Final rites will be conducted at the St. Pedro and Paul's Family Church in Ragama at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Kalabban State Awarding Festival was held at the Youth Services Council Auditorium in Maharagama today under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. It has been organized for the 38th occasion this year. Before the opening of the ceremony, a 2-minute silence was observed by the participants in remembrance of veteran artists Jackson Anthony and other late artists. A number of artists who have rendered a unique service for the well-being of the artistic field were felicitated at this ceremony. Kalabban Award is the highest award presented to an artist in the island. 200 unique artists were honoured with this high esteem award. Each of these artists were provided with a cash award of 50,000 rupees. Ministry of Cultural Affairs has organised this ceremony. Venerable Rambukana Siddhartha Thera and all other religious dignitaries, Minister Vidura Vikramanayake and several politicians were present at this occasion.
And meanwhile, the Asian Development Bank has expressed positive stance on granting aid for new projects in Sri Lanka for the period of next 5 years.
Representatives of the Asian Development Bank stated this matter at the talks held with Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. A team headed by the Executive Director of the Asian Development Bank, Chantal Wong, Executive Director of the Sri Lanka Affairs of the Asian Development Bank, Sangming Roo, has arrived in the island these days. They met Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena in Colombo today and held talks, and the Asian Development Bank representatives praised the government for its measures taken to revitalise the national economy of Sri Lanka. In an announcement, the Prime Minister's office states that the Asian Development Bank representatives focus their attention for the future investment opportunities existing in the fields of digitalization, IT, public transport, human resources development, education and medium-scale entrepreneur development.
Senior professor of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura Aloka Patruna says that 1/3 of the university students are suffering from considerable mental disorders that should be given immediate treatments. The professor points out that this fact has been confirmed by a research carried out in the Jaffna University. Professor Aloka Patruna revealed these facts at a program organized by the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura to mark the World Mental Health Day yesterday. The program was named at Inspira 2023. This was held to enhance the mental condition of the university students. Several lectures in this connection were delivered at this program. A special app has been introduced to provide guidance to students to enhance their mental condition. In line with this program, a competition was also held for the university and school students. The winners were provided with prizes and certificates. The program has been conducted by the WOW Society of the Career Guidance Section of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura.
Now, the death toll in Israel from the Hamas attacks has reached 1,200, while more than 750 people have been killed by Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. The Israel military says that hundreds of thousands of troops are near Gaza, ready to execute the mission we have been given. At the other end of the country, Israel has attacked Lebanese territory in response to an attack from Hezbollah. It has also said that 6 medical personnel had been killed and another 15 injured, and 8 journalists had also died. The UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency says 9 of its staff has been killed in Gaza since Saturday. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and opposition leader Benny Gantz have agreed to form an emergency government. A war cabinet will also be set up with Netanyahu, Gantz and the country's defense minister. It means that during war period, no bills or government decisions will be promoted that do not concern the conduct of the war, and all senior appointments will be automatically extended during the war period. We're constantly seeing videos, footages which has surfaced, but we'd love to see the latest developments in the battlefront. And joining us today is the foreign news analyst, Mr. Prasad. Sir, we'd like to hear from you. What's the current status of both cities? We've heard so much of visuals, we've seen so many updates, but we'd like to know the latest.
Yes, Sharon. Now we can clearly see that Israel is preparing for a war. They are on war footing. They are preparing for a long, brutal and very destructive war, because they are preparing both politically as well as militarily. As you mentioned in the previous news item, Israel government now they have agreed to form an emergency government, war cabinet. Both Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and opposition leader Benny Gantz, they have agreed to get together and conduct this war effort. So politically they are in a very strong position now. The whole country is united behind the government, and the other politicians have also lent their support to the government. So we can see Israel is politically stable for the preparation for the war that they are planning to carry out. Then militarily, Israel troops are now they are positioning around the most of the northern part of the Gaza, as well as the little bit eastern area. Now Israel totally blocked this sea area. So for 16 years they have continued this blockade on Gaza. So this area is not a vital area for Hamas to get supplies because of the heavy Israel blockade. Now Israel have sealed all the full border area. Now this whole border is sealed, and border points have been closed, and at the same time now this is the erased border point where the Hamas militants on Saturday breached the border and entered the Israel. And according to the military specialists, Israel will also use the same point, erase, and the other two border points to enter Gaza when they launch a possible military operation targeting Gaza. And at the same time, this area is also reportedly vital for Israel troops, because they can move, according to the military specialists, this area can be used to mobilize heavy armor and a tank and armored columns, because this area is a little bit vacated area and open area. So they can easily move into the Gaza by using this the area in this that shown with this black color arrow. Now with all these things, Sharon, there is a very severe human catastrophe is unfolding. Now this evening, the only power generating station in Gaza it has stopped generating electricity because they ran out of fuel. Now there is no fuel supply to Gaza due to the Israel blockade. Doctors in Gaza, they have requested the United Nations and other international agencies to do something, because now the whole Gaza Strip is without power, and for emergency medical treatments, this situation is it's very difficult for the medical staff to carry out their emergency treatment processes because of the now this Gaza city and this Yunus Khan area, densely populated areas, were attacked by Israel Air Force. So nearly 2,000 people, 1,000 people have been killed and over 5,000 people have been injured in Gaza. So medical teams need all the equipment as well as the power supply to carry out this emergency treatment process. Therefore, the United Nations and Egypt, the only access point will be the access point with Israel, Egypt to Gaza. So that's the only hope for the Gaza, because now that border point is also closed during Egypt closed that border point when this Hamas military operation started on Saturday. However, Egypt government officials as well as the United Nations relief agencies, now they are holding talks whether they can open this border point with Israel, with Gaza, between Gaza and Egypt, to send emergency supplies, humanitarian supplies into the Gaza Strip. So that's the situation up to now. So we can see there's a crisis, big crisis, humanitarian crisis is also unfolding in this small strip of land in Palestine.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad Durangudage, for bringing us that update on the very latest on current situation which is taking place in Palestine as well as in Israel. On the latest developments, our foreign news analysts bring you the update for today.
Moving on to more local stories, the 23rd Ministerial Summit of the Indian Ocean Rim Countries Association commenced in Colombo today. Foreign Minister and senior ministers of the member countries are participating in this summit. At the opening session, former chairman of the Indian Ocean Rim Countries Association, Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen handed over the chairmanship to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, President's Council Ali Sabri. Sri Lanka will hold the chairmanship until the 2025. Then Minister Ali Sabri presided the summit as the head of the association. Indian Foreign Minister S. Jayasankar was elected as the vice chairman of the association. The association was set up in 1997 as an intergovernmental organization for the well-being of the member countries. Countries representing the regions of Africa, Western Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia and Oceania are members of this association. There are 23 full-time members and 11 countries are partners of dialogue at present. The foreign minister and ministerial officials today held discussion on the fields of the trade and investment, maritime safety and security, management of fishing activities, management of disaster risks, green economy and several other sectors. The foreign ministers expected to meet President Ranil Wickremesinghe during their stay in the island. In addition, the ministers will have bilateral talks in the sidelines of this summit.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa worshipped Sri Dalata Maligawa in Kandy and obtained blessings this morning. He was welcomed by the Diyavarana Nilame Nilangadala. Later, the former president went to the inner chamber of the Sri Dalata Maligawa and worshipped the sacred tooth relics. We're into a foreign break. My apologies. We're into a break. We'll be back with foreign news. That's it. That's a look at Rupavahini News for tonight. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Good night.